Speaking of,
Time for phrases.
who's going to come in spot? How many prepositional phrases do we have? Natalie,
I think.
will you go identify one, please? All right, so we have 2 prepositional phrases. So we are ready to go on to the 4th one. And what did we say this kind of sentence is?
Complex.
It's a complex sentence. What is its structure? Go, what was that, page 72?
Yeah.
What's the first clause in this, Kai? Can you start reading at the beginning and tell me where that clause ends?
Because she loves her students.
Okay, so that is number 1. There we go. Which one is that? Is that independent or is it dependent?
Independent.
Kai?
It's independent.
So if it's independent, that could be a sentence on its own.
Yeah.
We could just put that on a piece of paper and everyone would be clear. It doesn't feel like, does it feel like a cliffhanger?
Yeah.
I really like that. Somebody said that yesterday and I really like that idea. Do we feel like we're being left wondering stuff?
Yeah.
Yes. So this is our dependent. Your other tip-off that it's dependent is that we started with the conjunction. Whatever clause begins with a conjunction is going to be your dependent clause. Always. All right? So that means, what's the independent clause here? Nora, what's the independent
I
clause?
actually have a question.
Oh, okay.
So when you say dependent and independent, does dependent mean that it can't be an only sentence, it has to have more added to it?
That's a brilliant way to explain it. Yes.
Right now.
Yes.
You're independent, we're dependent.
Right. And this is dependent. It can't be a sentence, but that's not enough. It's got to have some more to finish it off.
Okay.
Yeah, very well put. Can you read the independent clause here, Nora?
Mrs. Stevens will be sad on the last, wait, so, do you have to?
All of it.
Okay, Mrs. Stevens will be sad on the last day of school.
Absolutely.
Could you split it up 3 ways or only 2?
Only 2. Because, and you know why only 2? Because I only have 2 sets of subject predicate. I'd have to have a 3rd clause. I'd have to have a 3rd set of subject predicate in order to join 3 clauses, which is a possibility.
Yeah.
But we're just not doing that today. My board isn't long enough to add more.
Yeah.
Could this be a sentence on its own?
Yes.
Would it be a complete thought and people would understand what it meant?
Well,
No.
I mean, like, they would kind
I don't think so.
Couldn't I say that Miss Stephen will be sad on the last day of school?
Yeah. There's no reason why she's.
yeah, they might want to know
No.
why.
They want to know more.
Now you guys are into,
Obvious.
I would develop a paragraph around this sentence. This sentence here, because you'd want to know more. This can be left on its own more easily than this part can. Although this is how a lot of students will answer a question on a test. They give me this. That is why your 4th grade and 3rd grade and 2nd grade teachers said, never start a sentence with because. Because you always left them hanging. You give them a cliffhanger. You didn't add this part, the independent, that would finish out the thought.
But then when you have the independent, then you don't have a reason why she's sad. So then it's basically a cliffhanger too.
Not really. Not really.
Kind of.
Nope.
Well, because she loves her students, it's like, why does she love her students? And Miss Stephen will be sad on the last day of school. That question is why is she gonna be sad?
You would want more sentences. You want one on a whole paragraph. That's what you're looking for, and that's excellent because you're already a writer. You're thinking that I wouldn't leave a single sentence all by itself. I would give more information around it. Yes, Finley.
So if like that dependent, what would you say, a dependent clause?
Yes.
Yeah. So even though it has a subject and a predicate, it's still not an independent clause?
Because it has the conjunction.
Oh, okay.
The conjunction, if we remove this, would we be okay?
Yes.
She loves her students.
Yeah.
We would be okay.
Yeah.
But this is what makes it a dependent clause. This one word added to the beginning of it.
And
Yep,
oh, sorry.
that's right.
And also, can it still be a full sentence if you just add more onto that dependent? Can it be changed to an independent if you just add more words?
You mean just inside this clause?
Yeah.
No, we have to have an independent clause as well.
Okay.
Whenever you have dependent clause, you need an independent clause to finish it up.
Can it like change to an independent clause though? Like
The
you
only
don't
way
have
to change this
comma?
to an independent clause would be to remove the conjunction,
Oh, okay.
but be a
Like,
prep
would you
phrase.
still call "she loves her students" as a prep phrase, even if there's a subject and a predicate?
No, that's the difference between a phrase and a clause. A phrase has no subject predicate. A clause has a subject and a predicate.
There's no preposition.
A clause can be a sentence by itself. We call that a simple independent clause. It can be compound sentence with two independent clauses, or it can be complex with one independent clause and one dependent clause. Look at our prepositional phrases. There's no verbs over here, are there?
No.
Yeah.
We have nouns, but our nouns aren't followed by verbs. So in a phrase, we never have the subject predicate thing happening.
Yes, I thought it was, I don't know. And then I just looked at it, and like, something doesn't look right, and I looked up at it, and I'm like, oh, never mind.
Right.
So that's how
Right.
I answered my question.
Okay. So Kai, I'm going to come back to you. What's the structure of this sentence again? Complex, which one is it?
Complex D, I.
Yes, and very nicely said. D, comma, I. Where is the comma going?
Between the dependent clause and the independent
There it
clause.
is, right? There it is. When you start a sentence with a conjunction, a subordinating conjunction, you know you're going to need to put a comma at the end of that first clause. And every time I've pointed this out to a student, every time, they've been able to, when they reread the sentence, they knew exactly where that comma had to go. You have a sense of when that clause is over, and you need the comma. So I will start looking for that in your writing, if you start a sentence with one of those conjunctions. And you may not recognize them all at once, like all of a sudden, but we'll get there, right? All right, so now let's do a quick drawing of this.
Drawing.
A sketch of what this would look like in our diagramming. Let's start with this one. I'm going to put the circles up so we have it kind of small. So we have our subject circle and our predicate circle. What else are we going to need here on this one?
Another two circles.
What are we going to need, Finley?
A direct object.
We're going to need a direct object, action verb, direct object, so we're going up. So we're going to need that, aren't we? Are we going to need anything else?
Yeah, oh no. Yeah, we do.
We do? What do we need?
We need a modifier for students.
Wow, awesome. All right. So, what goes in the subject? So, Cal, what goes in the subject circle?
She.
Excellent. What goes in the predicate circle? Sylvia. What goes in the direct object circle? Natalie.
Students.
Oh, get you right small enough.
Squeeze it in there.
What goes in the modifier circle? Ian.
Head.
Now, the only thing we're missing out of that clause is because. And we are going to add that in. We're going to do our second one, and then we're going to put it in as the connector. So here we've got our second one, our subject circle, our predicate circle. Do we need a direct object on that one?
No.
No. What do we have instead?
Two verbs.
The subject complement.
Yeah.
And so instead of going up, we're going to go down. Okay?
And two.
Ooh, we have two prepositional phrases. What are they modifying?
The last. Why will she be sad? Why will she be sad?
Do you think they're modifying
No.
the verb or the noun? Mrs. Stephen or will be?
This is will be.
That's a tricky one, isn't it?
I think it says on the last day of school. I think one's will be sad on the last day of school.
Do you think that they're really modifying the subject complement?
I don't think so.
Okay. What are they answering? What are they telling you? What kind of information they're giving? A what or a where or a when?
why. I think it should.
A what, a where, or a when?
When?
A when?
Yeah.
A when?
Yeah.
So if it's answering a when, we're gonna put it as a modifier of our verb. Okay?
But then the other one's a where.
Yeah.
School.
They kind of are two working together. I think we can deal with them going together.
Okay.
Yep. So we could put them all here, and that's gonna be a lot of blah, 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 blah.
Looks like a snowman.
What goes here? What goes here? Brennan, what's our subject of our second clause?
Miss Steven?
Yep. And what goes in the predicate
Will.
circle?
Will be.
Will be.
Excellent. What goes in our subject complement?
Sad.
Sad, yeah.
All right. And then our prepositional phrases will all go
On the
down here in this
last day.
circle.
Why would, wait, I have a question.
Yep.
Why would they all go in one when they're two separate prepositional phrases?
Because actually, it goes back to what somebody said before, that of school wouldn't stand on its own. If we took out the middle one, was that you, Henry?
No, I said
If we took out on the last day, it would be weird, because of school wouldn't fit
Yeah.
by itself.
Yeah.
So perhaps this one is modifying that one. I mean, they really do go together, don't they?
Yeah, but of school can't go by itself. So how could it be modifying?
That's such great questions you
last
ask.
day.
Make me consider, like, how should we do this? On the last day,
Because there
could
can
we have
be-
of school modifying that one?
Yeah, I think that's what it is because
Okay.
you don't know what the last day is.
Okay.
Like,
Reverse the order of these two.
Miss Stephen will be sad on the last day of school. Hi, she loves her students.
Does it make the same amount of sense either way?
Yeah.
Yes, we haven't changed the sense of the sentence at all by reversing the order. It's what's cool about complex sentences. You can reverse, they're flexible in that way. And you can decide which way you like better. You can do it both ways. What if we put the independent clause first? Then would we still need the comma?
No.
No.
No, we would not.
It would be a complex ID.
Right, and the because would be in the middle of the sentence is
Yeah,
where we
that would
find
be
it, the
the-
beginning of that dependent clause, wherever the dependent clause is.
Wait.
Ava?
If it's a complex D, comma I, is there always going to be a comma in the sentence or no?
Yes, right behind the first clause.
Okay.
If you have your dependent clause first, there's always a comma separating the two clauses.
Okay.
Yep. Henry?
Is it possible to have two independent clauses, like, come together and create a sentence?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
two dependent clauses come together?
No, not two dependent clauses, but we could have two independent clauses come together, and we can use one of the other kinds of conjunctions. The and, but, so, for,
And what?
yet.
Okay.
But we can also join two independent clauses and just use a semicolon. That can happen once in a while when it's appropriate too. Finley?
Would that be like a compound sentence?
That would be then, two independents together.
So, the page 72, it says compound I, comma, CC, and then I?
CC is for a coordinating conjunction, not a
Oh.
subordinating conjunction. It's got to be a coordinating conjunction.
Okay.
The
So I was
and
like, what is CC?
Right. Good question.